Okay,
How's that
sounds
sound?
good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna just do a quick intro real quick, and we can go from there. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Cool. Okay, so hello guys, welcome back to another podcast episode, Nerds of the Decade. For those of you who don't know, my name is A. Goldman or Aaron. I am the host and also one of the founders for our blog page. And today I have a very special guest with me. Take it away. Go for it.
Yes, this is your good friend Arnold. Yes, hello. My name is Richard Zuniga, and I'm here to do my first podcast in a long, long time. I'm very happy to be here. I'm just gonna give you what you want. You want the Arnold voice? Let's do this. Come on, hurry.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What kind of stuff do you do? What have you been up to?
Well, shit. Where do you want me to start? What is that?
Well,
You gotta hone me in because I got a big old
well, so
universe right here.
so okay. So we're normally our podcast. We interview a lot of voice actors and a lot of cool behind the scenes, people. So like your voice actors, artists, creators, stuff like that. We've done a lot of stuff with like Joshua Seth, Josh Martin, and like a lot of anime stuff, as well as just other creators, other content creators, other people. We kind of network and talk to people. We've done some of Viz Media, Funimation, that kind of stuff, right? But
Perfect.
what yourself? What kind of stuff? What kind of stuff are you? I don't know if you're familiar with Jason Page, the guy who did Pokemon, the singer. We've talked to him and a bunch of other really cool people. So
Oh,
that's why I wanted to get
sweet.
you on. You sounded
Okay,
really awesome.
perfect.
Yeah. So
All right, I
give
know
me
exactly where I'm headed with this then.
yeah, let everyone know what you do. What are you up to? You know.
I'm an 80s kid. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna throw out my credentials.
Nice, nice.
I'm an 80s kid, born in 82, grew up in the LA area, and just like most 80s kids, I grew up with all that ADHD, Saturday morning cartoons, He-Man,
Oh yeah.
Thundercats. I think my first Christmas I ever got was a uh, they're like Power Rangers, but they're old school. I didn't really
Yeah.
watch the show that much, but not Robotech.
Yeah.
Voltron.
Ultron. Nice, nice.
One of my first Christmas gifts was a big modular Voltron, and I freaking loved it. So I've been a geek since day one. My parents bought me Nintendo day one, and I've been playing Mario ever since. Um, but yeah, those Saturday morning cartoons, Looney Tunes to a certain extent. Tom and Jerry used to watch that with my mom. I'm sorry, my grandma, and that kind of stuff just grabbed me as a kid and really took my interest. So the fact that people were drawing this stuff, the people were doing the voices, it was really inspiring. That hey, if they could do it, so could I. So it really sparked imagination and creativity inside me, and that's where it all began. And I've been trying to recreate and hang on to that feeling ever since then with my artwork, my creation, and voice acting and stuff like that. But by trade and as a career, I'm a firefighter. So I was pursuing a career in art and voice acting, radio broadcast, and TV and all that. That was my major for a little bit. I did some theater
Wow.
acting. Yeah, I did some theater acting, classically trained, improv comedy. I mean, I love to perform. I did stand up for a while, and it just wasn't paying the bills. So I got myself a real job and became a firefighter, which is great because it affords me opportunities like this to have extra time and a little bit of funds to be creative. But now that the internet's here and Instagram exists, I could pursue these old dreams of mine, which is why I'm here. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're pretty well known for your Arnold impersonations, from at least from what the little bit that I know about you. So a lot of people know you for doing the Arnold impersonation, which is really cool. You sound almost just like Arnold.
That that's the
That's pretty
go-to. So
amazing.
the Arnold is the go-to. It's always been the go-to. It was pretty much one of my first impressions. I used to do impersonations of like family members, my grandpa, my aunts and uncles, and it would kill at family parties. But once I saw Kindergarten Cop in 1990 in the theater, thanks mom and dad for taking me. It was off to the races. I started memorizing the movie and doing skits for kids at school and same with family members, and it just grew from there. So it's
Mhm.
always stuck with me. And of course, when I did theater in high school and improv comedy, I was the Arnold guy. So us theater kids, we're a bunch of nerds. So whenever we can cross mogenate with the jocks, it's really great. And the Arnold really brought in like the water polo players, the football players, all the jocks would come to watch and support, only to yell out the suggestion, "Oh no, dude!" every single time. It was freaking hilarious. So I was given 5 minutes at the end. And just they were like, "Hey, calm down. He'll do it. Just stop saying Arnold, and we'll give him 5 minutes at the end." And of course, I would make a 5 minute Arnold set, and everyone would go crazy, and I go home happy. But Arnold is what I've been doing for many, many years. It has had many versions. The one that you hear right now is almost there. But remember, just like Arnold says, there is always room for improvement, and I will not rest until I die. Yes.
Stick around, right?
You got the king of the dad jokes, you know.
Yeah. So you must have, being an '80s kid, right? You must have known about Dragon Ball Z when you were younger, right? Or at least somewhat, because Dragon Ball Z started back in the '80s. So
yeah, Dragon. How old are you?
I am I'm 34. I'll be 35 in April.
Okay, so yeah, close enough. Yeah, I'll be 42 this year. So but in that time for me, the only real kind of anime I was exposed to was the intros to Thundercats and
oh wow,
and, you know, those were anime as hell, and the X-Men intro, the X-Men '94 cartoon is anime as hell.
Yeah, they still play '80s stuff.
Yeah.
And all the '80s stuff. Yeah, oh yeah. I grew up with a lot of that. Thundercats.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So it was always really disappointing that the animation quality of the intro of the show did never match the actual show itself. That's a whole other story.
True.
But as far as Dragon Ball Z, that didn't become known to me until I was in junior high, so like mid '90s, and it was still kind of nerdy. And or the way I look at it now, it's like, dude, anime is pretty
mainstream,
acceptable, and like it's like mainstream now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, which is a trip for me to see, because there's like my son got into it for a while, and he's 10, 11 years old. Wow. But it's super interesting to me that it was still like kind of a very much niche geek like anime, and
it wasn't.
I was exposed to it very much because the neighborhood I grew up in was very Asian, lots of Korean, first generation Korean families, kids that I grew up with, and they introduced me to a lot of stuff, and a lot of the artwork that I do is very heavily influenced by those friends that I had in junior high and high school.
Gotcha. So that sounds about right, because it didn't come over here till, I don't remember Dragon Ball Z till probably about that same time period. That's when it first came over to the U.S. at least. It started like I can't remember what the exact date in Japan, but it was sometime in the '80s in Japan, and then didn't come over here till like the '90s. So that's about right,
Yeah.
But so what else? So what else are you up to? What else are you up to currently? Does Arnold Schwarzenegger know about you doing the impersonations?
No, and so I initially, when I did I'll just start with the first video. I've been on Instagram probably pretty much since day one. I think my first Instagram account was obviously a personal one. I was taking pictures of food like everyone else was.
Cool.
But I had gotten hired with the fire department. I've been on for 12 years. I waited a couple years to really do anything on Instagram fireman related, because it's just an interesting culture. You kind of have to earn things, to put it lightly. But yeah, one of my first big accounts was called the GoPro Fireman, and basically the GoPros were new at the time as well, and I was trying to mix the two and show like a real human side to firefighting, not just the super tough, working out and whatever the average person thinks a firefighter does. It's probably not anywhere close to what we actually do. So I wanted to show like the fun human side and show that we have lives and families and that we're normal people. And it was working. I at the time, this was 12 years ago, I had like over 10,000 followers, which was like probably 100,000 nowadays. Yeah. So yeah, that was the start of it. And then since then, I've had various accounts, and I've been learning so much along the way. So I've thrown Arnold in many, many times over the past 10 years, over many accounts, and it just started sticking literally 6 months ago. So I was driving home from, work, and Threads just started, the Threads app, which is like Twitter but Instagram, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
they I jumped on Threads and I found Dane Cook. You remember Dane Cook? Uh,
Yes, I do. Yeah.
right, stand-up comedian. And again, I was in high school doing theater and improv, and his energy was fantastic. I loved it. It was contagious. He was so funny on stage. I would copy his routines. Anyway, big fan. So fast forward to now, and I'm on Threads, and freaking Dane Cook follows me back on Threads. So I'm just, dude, I am just geeking out. Okay, and sorry, my screen is over here, but I'm using my phone because it's better quality. So
It's okay.
I
Don't
feel like I have an audience right now. But
no,
yeah,
you're good.
Dane Cook follows me back that day, so I'm so excited. I'm geeking out,
Yeah.
and it takes me back to high school, which that the video that no one screams like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I do that skit. That's from my high school.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, that's from high school. That's 20 plus years old. And
Yeah.
I said, hey, I'm going to do a tribute to myself to tell my past self, hey, dude, we got it, man. Dane Cook is interacting with us, dude. Our dreams are come true, right?
Yeah,
So that, I think that energy kind of comes across the screen, and
yeah.
I was super excited to do it. And I do that skit, and it got 4.5 million views or something like that, and
Wow.
that really, and then every Arnold video I've put since then has gotten a lot of traction and attention. So I think I found my community. The community has been awesome. Everyone that's been interacting has been fantastic. Thank you so much. You guys are great. And yeah, it started off, hey, let's try to get Arnold's attention. I understand he's a busy guy. He's a big star. I get it. So if he never contacts me, that's all good, because everything that's come with this has been 10 times better than that could ever be, I believe. So just the interaction with everybody out there, and staying positive and putting out some kindness and positivity has been really great, and it's been fun.
Hey, you never know, because a lot of times you'll do an impersonation, and the person who you're impersonating may see that and be like, hey, this guy's amazing. So I wanted to say this: you're a man very much like myself in the way that you are a fan of. So I went to when we started. I started back in 2016 doing this whole blog thing with anime and with games and with just interviewing cool people. And I never thought I'd get to meet one of my childhood heroes from anime, Steve Bloom, the guy who did Sub-Zero and Mortal Kombat, and like a bunch of other Tsunamis, the voice of Tom, the robot on Toonami on Adult Swim, and a bunch of other things. Got to meet him at a convention. Unfortunately, I should say fortunately, my buddy was with me at that time, and was able to keep my composure enough not to nerd out. But I'm very much like you in the way that I met Sonny Strait, the voice of Krillin from Dragon Ball Z, and that was like one of the first times I think I met someone as big as that, and I completely nerded out and felt horrible afterwards. But yeah, I mean, just you, I'm a person that I grew up in the '90s, but I still watched a lot of the '80s shows and the Looney Tunes and all that stuff. I grew up watching all that stuff. Voltron was a big part of what I did, what I watched back in the day. So my thing is I got a lot more into the anime scene with Demon Slayer and like a lot of and Naruto and Gundam and all the old stuff like that. And that just started to become something, and I started doing this the blog page. Unfortunately, my friend, he stepped away from it for a little while. But who knows, he may come back, he may jump back in. He jumps in and out somewhat.
That's understandable. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So, ever since then, I've just been like you, almost the same thing. Dude, I just jumped into it head first. I'm like, hey, I like this. I'm a fan of this, and like, let's roll.
Well, that's the way it is now, and that's the way it should be. I think you're more my sister's age, but both of us still grew up in the era where we had to invent games, where we had to entertain ourselves, where there wasn't everything at our fingertips. And right now, it's almost too overstimulating. I think that's the cause of a lot of the anxiety that's happening right now, just in the world in general. But I think that it's fun if you look at it, positively. That I have my laptop right here, I have a iPad right here, I have these headphones, I have this microphone, I have this, digital tablet where I make my artwork right here. I mean, this is a whole movie studio just on this table.
Yeah,
and It's amazing what we can do with so little nowadays. But it's just, I understand the challenge because it requires us to be a little bit more focused because there's so much distractions out there. But I just think this is like the digital freaking gold rush. What
I
we're
don't know
living
if you
in.
can see, but there's the display case of the
Yeah.
figure. This room's pretty crazy. I got a whole ultra wide monitor and sound set up in front of me, and like so, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that a
you're
Zoom
right.
punk fan?
A whole, whole bunch of there's a display case on the other side of me over here, right there.
You gotta have the room, dude. You gotta have the room. You gotta have, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I was lucky enough. My dad let me use his house, my part of my room, as my studio setup. And so he just took my whole setup at my father's house and said, "Okay, I'm just gonna turn this into a studio to do my blog work here." And it just so happened to work really well. Just like just like yourself, in a room with a microphone and setup. It took me a couple of years to get the equipment, but hey, I mean, I did it,
Keep it simple. Keep it simple is the name of the game. That's what I've been learning. And the videos that you spend like an hour or two on don't do
Mhm.
nothing. And then of course the ones that take five minutes just explode. So, the
Yeah.
moral of the story is just be yourself and keep it simple. Keep it simple.
So you're Arnold stuff. You said you used to do stand up. Have you done any stand up recently? Have you done anything recently with the Arnold and with some of the
No,
impressions? No.
no. Well, and this kind of segues is with the room and all this stuff is,
Mm-hmm.
um, I had a bitchin' house. I had a whole room I'm a big Hot Toys guy. I'm sure you guys are
Oh, nice. Oh,
familiar with
cool.
Hot Toys.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
had a ton of Hot Toys. I'm a huge Batman fanboy. I don't care what he's in or what
Wow.
he's doing. I will
I'm a
watch
big
it.
Batman fan myself. Kevin Conroy
I
was my favorite Batman.
Okay, you're a man of my taste because my favorite go-to when people ask me who's my favorite Joker, I say Mark Hamill every freaking time. Mark
Okay.
Hamill is my favorite Joker, hands down. So when people go to Batman the animated series, because
Yeah.
it counts as their favorite version, I'm there with you because the artwork, the voice acting, the stories, everything about that is so phenomenal. And lucky to have seen that during its first run on Fox 11 on the West Coast.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear that, but Mark Hamill. When you said Mark Hamill, I had to hit the button.
Perfection. Perfect. Just it doesn't get any better than that. And I think everyone since then is trying to a little bit incorporate that. And even with Joaquin Phoenix, you can hear a little bit of that in his laugh, even though he makes it his own.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely. Yeah.
you can't help, but once it exists already, you can't help but take a little bit of inspiration from it and honor it. So, but yeah, so I huge Batman guy. I had every Batman thing. I'm a big Marvel dude. I had Iron Man and
Nice. Iron Man is, I don't know if you can see this, but Iron Man is standing right here. Like you said, you're an Iron Man guy. Wait. You got to see it. Look, Iron Man is standing right here. You talk about like that's a
he's
cardboard
rad, dude.
cutout of Iron Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I
You,
mean,
you gotta have the room and it's that was my place. That's where I did my artwork and all that stuff. But
yeah.
unfortunately, I went through a pretty hairy divorce and I lost all of that.
Ooh,
And
ouch.
yeah, that was about 5 years ago. So really, all of this has just been everything that you're seeing on social media has been my fight to remain optimistic and positive during, in the face of some pretty stressful times. So I'm building back up to that, and one day I hope to have my room again with all of my nerd stuff because
You'll get,
that's
you'll get back to it. I'm sure you will. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
it will. It will. It's just a little bit of reorganization and rethinking about what was going on in my life, and it's working. It's finally starting to come through right now, which I have a great feeling about this year. Really quick, I want to make let's put this positive spin on this. And you're the
Sure.
first. I got this
Uh-huh.
cookie, and it said I got this like a week ago. You will attract cultured and artistic people to your home. You are the first one, my friend, and thank you for affirming this. I'm
Really?
sure there's many more, but here it
Hey, no
is.
problem. No
I
problem,
posted it
man.
to my story, so if you hear from Instagram, you recognize this. It's already coming true. Okay, believe in it and it'll happen.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, look, I didn't, the first time I booked a guest on this podcast was Josh Martin, and I didn't think I was going to book anyone big, that big, when we first started. And yeah, I just wasn't sure. And sure enough, it happened. We had reached out to people at cons, we had met people, before, but I wasn't so sure that the whole online presence and the whole podcast thing was going to work out. And now look, now we're a huge huge web page and huge site that I'm running pretty much by myself. I have community support and people like yourself who jump on and who are a lot of fun to talk to, right? So who wouldn't? You never know.
I mean, and that's the cool thing is we're still all people, so we cannot forget that. Sure, this is digital, and you're in Baltimore, and I'm in the Los Angeles area. I'm in Temecula, but anyone outside of California doesn't know where the heck Temecula is, so I say Los Angeles. Uh, but yeah, we're separate. We're not physically in the same space, but we're physically taking time together. We're
Yeah.
conversing with each other. We're having a back and forth. We're real people, and that's what it takes. So
And then also you can't give up. You just
yeah,
can't give up. You gotta keep going. You
you got
know.
to have a goal. You got to have a plan. You got
Yep.
to you've got to just don't ignore the naysayers. You have to just push through. Don't give
What's
up.
the what's the steam thing? Let off some steam, Bennett.
Little team, Bennett.
Exactly.
It's really important. I go into like Arnold 101 a little bit when I try to help y'all because dude, I get so many cool audio messages from people doing their version of Arnold, and I think it's fantastic. Every version is amazing. I love it. But I like to give some nuggets of knowledge, and you have to. When I do it, I think of what he looks like, and I imagine the movie inside my head as I'm doing the line. So his
That's what I
pose,
do. Same thing.
yeah, yeah, it helps. So like, and even this is how Arnold actually works: is you got to think of the pose. Okay, you got to think of every muscle and movement. You have to stop. You have to be. So it is very precise.
That's
So with
cool.
Steve Bennett, you gotta hold the knife. I gotta hold the knife, and he has that kind of let off some steam, Bennett.
And
You gotta have that Arnold squint. Just the bottom eyelid's gotta right, not the top, the bottom. It's that meticulous. Let off some steam, Bennett.
I lied. Yeah, dude, is that? Hey, let's go again. I
Well, and that one,
lied.
that one you gotta be. See, you remember when I told you to kill your last? I lied. It changes the impression. If I remember if I promised to kill you, remember if I promised to kill you. There's a difference.
And then the way you do, there is no bathroom.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
no bathroom, and that's the thing is in Kindergarten Cop, he does this. He does that
it.
every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no bathroom, and there's a physical.
Oh, man.
Right?
I have to say, like, even though some of those movies like weren't didn't they didn't do so great with the ratings, the performance that he has in those films was just unreal. The one-liners and just some of the stuff that he did was amazing. So to hear you imitate it, it's pretty awesome, I have to say.
Well,
Um,
that's the best part about Arnold is he does have that bodybuilding background, and he did take it extremely serious. He took it so serious. He took ballet classes, took pantomime, and he really did all that stuff, and it helped him in his acting career because he's able to take direction. He's a perfectionist. He's introspective, self-critical, and those are the kind of things that you need to have insight to be able to have an external performance. So, and that's anything that you do, any job, anything where you're going to have to perform or be a team, or you're expected to show up. You gotta have that self-reflection
if
so that
you
you continue to
if
improve.
you get a chance, that you go back on our scroll back on my Instagram feed or on stories, you'll see I've done like the Roman Kenshin Tai Patosai and stuff like that. I've done that and a couple other. I did a Spider-Man with what's his name, William Dafoe. There was just that. So I've done a couple myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there. I don't think I'm at your level yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting better.
Well, again, and that's the beauty of what's going on right now online or on Instagram or whatever you wanna say is almost the rougher the better. to be honest with you. And it down and dirty, rough, real. I think that's really what it is. I think we're kind of sick of the polished bullcrap. I'm pretty sure we're all sick of influencers. I've never set out to be that at all.
I'm kind of one, but not really. I'm more of just like the review guy, right? I'm just kind of the guy who does reviews. You know what I mean?
You're an admin.
So yeah.
You're an admin, and being an admin is a great thing. I like that title better. I like admin because, again, you and I grew up in the message board age of the internet, of AOL or whatever, and to be the admin of a page that you loved was the fucking. I'm sorry, I curse.
That's fine. Hey, wait, we do it on this podcast.
I get excited and curse. Doesn't mean I'm angry. It just means I'm excited. What was I saying?
You were talking about being an admin. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Being an admin for a page that you're a fan of was the bee's knees, and then to be invited to be a moderator was just almost just as good. And eventually, if the admin was going to quit or pass the torch, one of the moderators would take over. And growing up in that time, basically that's what I feel like I'm doing now. I'm the moderator of an Arnold fan page where I get
and you're awesome at it. And you're an artist, which is cool. So,
and it's fun, and I get to moderate the comments, and you can disagree with me all day. I'm okay with that. As long as if you present a good conversation and a side of your story, hey, cool, I'll learn from you. But if you're going to be hateful or racist or angry for no reason, I block people that are just very. There's some.
Hey, man, I'm right there with you. I feel the same way as you do. Unfortunately, I only got a little bit of time left because Zoom only gives me a short amount of time on Zoom. But I'll give you the last couple minutes. Where can people find you? How can people get a hold of you if you want to spread? I want to spread the word, get you out there more, right? How can people?
All right, dang it! We're just getting warmed up. I feel like maybe we can do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
I am on Instagram only. I'm only on Instagram at GeekFire Inc. Okay, GeekFire Inc. And it's a good time. It's three things. It originally started off as a tattoo page because I started tattooing.
Cool.
And I wasn't trying to advertise that, but I start making videos and then people start recognizing me. So then they start asking for things and then it snowballs. But yeah, some of you might have remembered me from Talking Out of My Stash, which is the podcast that I used to have. Doesn't exist no more. It is not coming back. That's a whole nother podcast episode to explain that. But GeekFire Inc. On Instagram. I've toyed around with opening up a YouTube, but I'm not sure. I've been having enough fun on Instagram. But jump on, follow, interact. Lots of Arnold content on there. And
I'll make sure to post a link to your Instagram because this video will go up on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So I will make sure that I put a link to your Instagram page and also make sure I let people know where to find you so people can go check you out and follow you. So
yes, I would appreciate that very much. Sorry, I'm falling apart here. I would appreciate that very much. That'd be awesome.
Thank you so much. I got like about 3 minutes left. Anything else you want to say? Any last word?
You know what? We're just gonna freestyle right now because let's pretend. Hey, pretend you're interviewing Arnold right now. Ask Arnold a question about something Arnold related, really quick. I swear, I'll deliver. Mr.
Schwarzenegger, if you had to give people one piece of advice, right, what would that be?
This number one advice that I give people is that you must ignore the naysayers. You must ignore them. Do not fight. Do not argue. This is they're going to bring you down to their level. Do not engage with the naysayers. If anyone listened to the negativity, no one would do anything. Just remember, if not now, when? And if not you, who? Get to the chopper! Come on, do it! Hurry!
All right, let's see. 2 minutes. Can you do an Arnold power up? That's awesome.
You can insert any kind of intro to that before. Be creative, and it would be freaking hilarious. You know where I'm going with that.
Oh Oh, definitely, definitely. I used to sit in the movie theaters when Dragon Ball Z was in the theaters. I used to impersonate the announcer for Dragon Ball Z, Caliber. He'd be like, "Last time on Dragon Balls," and people just go nuts because they think that the announcer's in the movie, and it was me sitting in the back of the room doing that. And the actor knows I do that too, and he thinks it's hilarious. And so people went nuts. I got carried out of the theater one time. They're all holding me up, you know.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Like a good time.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I know it's too short. Zoom only gives me a little bit of time, unfortunately, because they want you to update to Pro, you know. But
Yeah,
I
I
enjoyed
understand.
having you on. Definitely, we'll have to do this again.
Can
Definitely.
I get a picture real quick? Let's see here. I know we
Yeah,
still got time.
go for it. I hope Zoom doesn't cut out on me though. But yeah, go for it.
Well, real quick, I promise. I know.
Sure. Go ahead. Go for it.
Smile, yay!
Yeah.
Got it. All right, brother. Yeah, we definitely should do this again. Yeah, I would love to come on if you would have me. This was great. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely awesome. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. And we'll all right, guys. With that, we'll wrap this up. Thank you very much. We'll hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Hi there. Please subscribe or follow DNA Anime Blog and DNA Studios on all of their social media platforms. Okay, bye!